dat Nederlander. En de derde die
What?
Yeah, but that was a long time ago, Daddy. And it's some like boring music. You and for me. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? Daddy, hear my voice. What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
I love that. What a beautiful little girl. What a beautiful father-daughter moment. And boy, that is some talent. She's got a voice on her, doesn't she? She was born with music in her soul. That's right. She was born with music in her soul. I just love that. What a cutie. What a cutie. Anyway, hey, folks, welcome to the program. Do me a favor, please. Will you share, like this program? We're just going to have a conversation today about some of the things going on that, we need to talk about. And I really want to get your opinion. So I want you to think about this. The first question I'm going to ask is, and it's on the negative side, and I'm not a negative person, but I want to know where everybody stands. How far gone is America? Now, far gone meaning America falls and it's no longer America, becomes socialist or something else. 100% would be we're there. I want to know in chat, put it in chat. I want to know what you think about how far we're gone. Think about that. Today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. That's why I partner with them. They're absolutely the best. I'm just asking you to go to jovanlovesgold.com, right? And request your free gold and silver kit today, because now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver. We're coming to a time they're probably going to switch us to the digital dollar. And I want you to think about that. Gold and silver is one of those hedges. I'm not saying go, hey, swap out your retirement, or all of your money. I'm just talking about a portion of it, so you have access to it, right? Etc. Okay. I'm just wanting to know. Sorry, my mic fell over. I don't know what's going on. Let me fix that real quick. Hang on. 1 spin, 2 spin, 3 spin. It came unscrewed. I've been lacking a little there lately. I got a screw loose. It's my microphone. Anyway, folks, please go to jovanlovesgold.com. I'm telling you, it's coming, right? And you just need to be sure. Somebody put in chat, I heard that Pam Bondi was moved to a military base, has been added to the list of I saw that Pam Bondi has been added to the list of administration that's been moved to military bases. What? What even does that mean? Or, where do you hear things like that? That's an interesting one. Let me just kind of check that real quick. I want to find I don't know what you mean been moved to military bases. Is that housing, or she's been arrested, or what is that? Right? What does that mean? Okay. Recent media reporting Pam Bondi was moved to secure military housing near Washington, D.C. because of the heightened threats, and that she was described as the latest administration official to do so It's tied to security concerns and not a change in her role. Okay, that's reported by the Daily Beast. There's not really an official announcement. It's kind of standard. Okay. There's so much Q-isms out there. Yeah, she's hung up by her toes and I saw her skin, but they're keeping her alive with 7 rays of light because she's really a reptilian. Sorry, I just wanted to know what it was. Anyway, folks, share this program. It's kind of just an open discussion. We're going to discuss a lot of things, and I want to know, do you think that America can come back from the brink of destruction? So share this program right now. Hang tight. We'll be right back very shortly.
What up, America? It's Andrew Jackson, that guy you roll up to hit some powder. I founded the Democrat Party and chose the jackass as our mascot. Now, as you can probably tell, times have changed a bit from the party back in my day, and present-day Democrats will come to hate me, but that's your problem. Jackson started the Democrat Party to appeal to the common man. Democrats today sometimes give him credit for that, but only after calling him an evil white bigot. Needless to say, the party started off pretty sketchy by today's standards. We were by far the pro-slavery party all the way through the Civil War.
After the war, we cleaned up our act and supported the North's Reconstruction efforts. Totally kidding, we doubled down on racism and became the party of the Klan. But seriously, we didn't have much of a platform after the war, except Jim Crow, but that was until our boy came in hot on his rollerblades.
Then came the Depression. People lost trust in markets, so I wheeled in to drastically expand communism across the country, and Democrats been hooked ever since. Up until this point, blacks had always voted Republican, as they were the party that freed the slaves. But after FDR's New Deal, blacks swung 75% Democrat. This was a complete realignment, not because of civil rights, but because of economics. All while the Democrats were still the party of the Klan, and their stronghold was the South. We pushed segregation throughout the South and filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 75 days. It wasn't until Republicans stepped up and found even more votes to pass the bill. So ask yourself, how are Democrats seen as the party of the civil rights? Well, it's because
Democrats are very persuasive. But again, it ultimately boils down to economic incentives. Once Democrats realize the power of government spending and handouts, you can appeal to any voter group and lock them in.
1, 2, 3.
Gays for Palestine.
Good luck with that. So anyway, to sum it all up, my party has changed a shit ton, but it's not because of the mythical party switch. Democrats controlled the South all the way through the 1990s. But they did adopt new policies like massive social spending and welfare programs that allowed them to appeal to more diverse voting groups.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians, the elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd? Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, folks, welcome to the program. I got a question for you. Do you think America can come back from the brink of destruction? I'm asking you what percent. Put percent in chat. Put a percent number in chat. What percent do you think we're gone? Don't say a lot. Don't say we're almost there. Give me a percent. Somebody said 48%. Somebody said 100%, we're gone. And that's what that means. 100% means America's over. It's become something else, socialist or communist wise. I just want to know what your percent is. Please put it in chat, because I want to understand where you are. 55% gone. Jane says 75% gone. Vern says 90% gone. Sooner says 50% gone. Craig says 0% gone. That's what I want to talk about. You know, that little AI piece you just saw of Andrew Jackson, okay? Talking about his founding of the Democrat Party and the switch that, well, we'll just control them and control their money and say we're for them. And that's how we'll be able to continue this. Just a little bit of a story. One of our family lands in Texas sat at a place where minus 1 or 2 votes, it would have become the capital of Texas. And so what happened is, a long time ago during the Civil War, okay, a soldier, General Shelby, you probably heard that name, left the South. Hold on one. I'm trying to find the movie here. I'll pull it up. Shelby and his raiders left the Confederacy and said, hell no, this war's not over. Well, what people don't know was that they went down south and tried to restart the war. Now, where that was in Texas, believe it or not. And you can hear the roosters going off. Don't worry about it. It's that time again. I want to say, yeah, it's called the Undefeated. Let me just get a picture of it. Hang on. Okay. Okay. So Shelby basically said, to hell with it. We're not giving in. We're going to go back and we're going to fight. And so what they did is they went down to Texas. Let me get this image up large enough where you can see it. And their whole thing was to try to reignite the Civil War. And it didn't work. They didn't get it reignited. So what they decided to do is they decided to leave and go fight for General Maximilian, or for Maximilian, in Mexico. So the big part of this is these are the only Confederates that never surrendered. Now, the movie is called The Undefeated. And so they left. They came down through Texas. They said, well, we're not giving in. And they basically discarded their swords and buried the rebel flag in the Rio Grande. Now, all of this happened literally on my family land. And when I say on my family land, we ended up owning it much later. And so that flag, ironically enough, was able to be tracked down, believe it or not, and found and recovered from the Rio Grande. So one of the things I was doing is I was trying to find all of the old Civil War cabins. And so, you know, my exploration nature, I'm digging around, I'm finding buried rooms, I'm finding all kinds of stuff. I rescued an old black church, etc. And I'm trying to recover these big log structures. And I used satellite to do it at the time because I could see big clumps of oak trees, 150 years old, popping up out of the ground, and they'd be in perfect square formations, and a few would twist out. And that's how I knew there was a structure underneath that was strong enough to push off those trees. And so I went and recovered many of those ancient cabins And at the same time, Theodore Roosevelt had done a project called The Slave Narratives, where he interviewed slaves that were released. And so I happened to find slaves from the land that actually had cut the logs to make those cabins. And their narrative was nothing, right, like the roots or stories told. They talked about they were taught to read and write. They had wages, albeit, probably not the right wages. They had their own churches. I even went and recovered the church, by the way. The pews, reconstructed them all, and then donated them. I went to Southern Methodist University, their theology department and stuff, and kind of working with them. But so this was big history, but the story from the slaves themselves were not what was said. Now, the reason I tell you that is as I'm tracking down all of the history, which effectively made up this movie, and we'd already gotten one placard calling the place historic, and it was on the Trinity River in Texas. And where my particular part of the family been, the Trinity River was how everything was shipped up from New Orleans and all down there. And it came up to the deepest part of the Trinity River as far as you can get. Everything was offloaded, put on mules and wagons, and then it had to go the additional 70 miles or whatever it was to what was founded in the River Trinity Bottoms, which became Dallas, Texas. And so I'm tracking all this stuff down. I'm in old homes. I'm looking at houses that were built by ancient riverboat captains, and the rafters and everything were actually tied together by ship's rope. So as I'm feverishly capturing these documents, I found something in an obscure collector that I acquired. And it was a document coming from the Democrat Party as the 40 acres and a mule stuff's going on, and the slaves are in fact being released. Now, you might not know it, but a lot of slaves complained about that because they said, we now have nothing and we got booted out and we have no resources. But the document was from the Democrats themselves. The gist of it, I'm going to paraphrase, is, well, if we can't own them and can't work them and make money off of them, what we will do is we need to make sure that we convince them that in this new world, we can help them and we can become their benefactors because they used to be under our care, and we can teach them how to navigate society. And by that, we could possibly control their finances for them, and we can still make off of them money. I'm talking an absolute priceless document. Absolutely priceless document that 100% proves the Democrats were the slavers, and the Democrats' plan was to always keep them dependent. In a weak moment, because all of this is tied to this history, and they were opening a Civil War museum in Corsicana, Texas. People had known I was doing this work, and somebody came, and I actually lent them that document to put on display at the opening of the Civil War Museum. Moral of the story is that document disappeared. Absolutely disappeared. A smoking gun document from the time saying, here is how we're still going to control them. They were calling a meeting. They were having people come in. Here's the plan. Here's how we're going to do it. See, they didn't worry about it back then because a lot of the slaves that were across the country didn't read. So they didn't worry about that. They would just put it in there, call to a meeting, and here's how we're still going to be able to control them, manage them, get them to work for us, make money off of them, whatever. I learned a very hard lesson that those documents disappear. I'll give you another very interesting thing. If you ever watched my show on Minoans in America. And I shared with you my research from 2014 or whatever it was. And I am chasing down the Minoan gene along the Mississippi and the Americas and proving out the theory that ancient Europe or ancient Mesopotamia came to the Americas to get our copper because that's what fueled the Bronze Age. Do y'all remember that show that I did? Well, I told you I would look things back up and I'll do a program on it. And I just spoke about it briefly. Right after that program, and I just haven't told you this yet, I went back into the archives to pull all of the archive footage of here's where the ox hides came from, and here's this, and here's this, and here's that ancient Egyptian temple that was in Tennessee and all this other stuff. The archives have been suspended and are no longer viewable. So this happens quite often with the hiding of history, right? That the system does it. But let me play that video again so you'll understand why I even talked about it, because so many people just don't know the true history of the United States of America. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about, is this even going to survive? But this type of deception's deep, right? This type of deception is deep. And if it doesn't go along with the agreed thing, they're just going to hide it. It's the way it works. But let me play that again.
What up, America? It's Andrew Jackson, that guy you roll up to hit some powder. I founded the Democrat Party and chose the jackass as our mascot. Now, as you can probably tell, times have changed a bit from the party back in my day, and present-day Democrats will come to hate me, but that's your problem. Jackson started the Democrat Party to appeal to the common man. Democrats today sometimes give him credit for that, but only after calling him an evil white bigot. Needless to say, the party started off pretty sketchy by today's standards. We were by far the pro-slavery party all the way through the Civil War. After the war, we cleaned up our act and supported the North's Reconstruction efforts. Totally kidding, we doubled down on racism and became the party of the Klan. But seriously, we didn't have much of a platform after the war, except Jim Crow, but that was until our boy came in hot on his rollerblades. Then came the Depression. People lost trust in markets, so I wheeled in to drastically expand communism across the country, and Democrats been hooked ever since. Up until this point, blacks had always voted Republican as they were the party that freed the slaves. But after FDR's New Deal, blacks swung 75% Democrat. This was a complete realignment, not because of civil rights, but because of economics. All while the Democrats were still the party of the Klan, and their stronghold was the South. We pushed segregation throughout the South and filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 75 days. It wasn't until Republicans stepped up and found even more votes to pass the bill. So ask yourself, how are Democrats seen as the party of the civil rights? Well, it's because
Democrats are very persuasive. But again, it ultimately boils down to economic incentives. Once Democrats realize the power of government spending and handouts, you can appeal to any voter group and lock them in.
1, 2, 3.
Gays for Palestine.
Good luck with that.
So anyway, to sum it all up, my party has changed a shit ton, but it's not because of the mythical party switch. Democrats controlled the South all the way through the 1990s. But they did adopt new policies like massive social spending and welfare programs that allowed them to appeal to more diverse voting groups.
I play that because you should notice, and that's accurate history. Create a crisis, create fear, create mistrust. Oh, we'll help you. We'll save you. Let us do it. That is the formula. And that is the formula that has been used forever. And that is the formula we have to break, right? We have to break that formula. And this is what we're going to talk about in today's program. Do you think America can come back from the brink of destruction? And if you remember the Somali stuff that was going on, and yeah, you're right. And it works. They use it because it works. They use it because we allow it. Right? That's it. Now, what they had to do is they have to vilify everything in the process to bring people in. But here's an interesting look I think you should look at. This is, if you're looking at it, the odds of you being born on each continent. Now, I want you, if you are an American, to take a look at the fact of the odds that you were born here. And you were born in the country that allows you, if you can think it, you can do it, and you can prosper. Other countries don't. It's all about suppression and control of people. Yes, we could look at Australia, but look, Australia's fallen. They've taken it over, right? And again, this is this flood of immigration. They've learned by other countries, keep people suppressed, keep people poor. You can control them. You get money for them. And then let's get them to the places where they aren't. Let's move them in and let's start taking it over and control them. And there you go. That's it. That's it. And the absolute facts. The absolute facts. Right there. Now they distract us from this. Instead of looking at just true raw numbers and looking at our country, and then you watch what's happened in those European or American and Australia. You watch it. It's the flood of illegals. They're trying to change the numbers because they've got greater numbers of people they've controlled, people they got the money for, people they got paid to manage the health, manage the education, all this other crap, right? And flood them to the other countries so they can bring it down and open those doors and pave the way. Frankly, I want to stay undefeated. How about you? Now, what they'll do is they'll give us all kinds of things to prevent us from ever looking at what's really going on here. And the current tactic you've seen quite a bit.
The Jews did it.
Of course, Tucker, Meghan, Candace, and all those other ones, they've been bought off, in my opinion. They're playing to that agenda, which is playing out right in front of us, where the money's shipping these people over, right? But they give us things to distract, to think that 0.002% of the world is controlling everything. I laughed with Roseanne not too long ago. We were together for the holidays, and she had made a comment, which I laughed, and it was more about, aren't you freaking worn out from all the stuff we got to do running every country in the world? And you still do your program, and you still do this, and you still do this. Aren't you worn out like me? I am tired of governing the world. Now, where did that come from? The deception to pull us away from families, and you pull us away from Israel. You pull us away from Christ, from Christianity, right? And I'm not sure how people see that. And I'm not sure how people don't see the Islam invasion for what it is. And you think mosques are churches when they're not. They're basically battle stations. They're forts. Look at history. It'll tell you. It's where they keep their weapons, where they do their training exactly. And then you find out, literally, that if you go back in Islamic history, you find out the big debate and the split over Shia and Sunnis is not only whether it's Muhammad or the uncle, it's the fact that, well, a demon was actually what gave Muhammad his stuff, not God. And people don't even understand that. Muhammad went to all the rabbis and said, you have to accept my way, and you got to get rid of Jesus, and you got to get rid of Abraham and all these others, and declare I'm the one true one and follow. And they said, screw you, you're nobody, right? Well, it's going on now too. It's all about cleaving from God and basis, and that's why they're spending a lot of money to do it, folks.
The Jews did it.
And it's amazing. I just wish we could wave our wands and we could reveal them for who they really are by their souls and their intentions. Wouldn't that be great?
Typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
You know, I play that in funniness, but I want you to realize I truly think that's the world. This is a spiritual war. This is angel and demons. This is good and bad. And the veil is getting very thin. But I'm telling you, I believe in people's souls. This is what we're battling.
Typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So
sake.
I would like to understand how that's permissible.
It doesn't
Excuse
matter.
me.
We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
But of course,
The Jews did it.
now, if you can get people to believe these things, if you can get what is actually in most times good people, but if you can convince them that it's them who are being attacked. Remember, that's also why they created microaggressions. They had to go, right? And they can convince you of that, then literally they can take weak-brained people and turn them into ATMs. Hear me out here. And all that control stuff, like I showed you with Andrew Jackson. If you just came in, let me show that again.
What up, America? It's Andrew Jackson, that guy you roll up to hit some powder. I founded the Democrat Party and chose the jackass as our mascot. Now, as you can probably tell, times have changed a bit from the party back in my day, and present-day Democrats will come to hate me, but that's your problem. Jackson started the Democrat Party to appeal to the common man. Democrats today sometimes give him credit for that, but only after calling him an evil white bigot. Needless to say, the party started off pretty sketchy by today's standards. We were by far the pro-slavery party all the way through the Civil War. After the war, we cleaned up our act and supported the North's Reconstruction efforts. Totally kidding, we doubled down on racism and became the party of the Klan. But seriously, we didn't have much of a platform after the war, except Jim Crow, but that was until our boy came in hot on his rollerblades. Then came the Depression. People lost trust in markets, so I wheeled in to drastically expand communism across the country, and Democrats been hooked ever since. Up until this point, blacks had always voted Republican as they were the party that freed the slaves. But after FDR's New Deal, blacks swung 75% Democrat. This was a complete realignment, not because of civil rights, but because of economics. All while the Democrats were still the party of the Klan, and their stronghold was the South. We pushed segregation throughout the South and filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 75 days. It wasn't until Republicans stepped up and found even more votes to pass the bill. So ask yourself, how are Democrats seen as the party of the civil rights? Well, it's because
Democrats are very persuasive. But again, it ultimately boils down to economic incentives. Once Democrats realize the power of government spending and handouts, you can appeal to any voter group and lock them in.
1, 2, 3.
Gays for Palestine.
Good luck with that.
So anyway, to sum it all up, my party has changed a shit ton, but it's not because of the mythical party switch. Democrats controlled the South all the way through the 1990s. But they did adopt new policies like massive social spending and welfare programs that allowed them to appeal to more diverse voting groups.
And that's why we saved with Doge, just in the Social Security stuff, all the fake ones. That money was going somewhere, and I don't know why they're not running down these damn checks. But that move just to get rid of the 100-year-old hire, you know, that saved us $22 billion a month. It's about freebies. Now, when you look at these cities, Minneapolis or whatever the case may be, the more they can get their systems entrenched because it's about destroying us. The more they can get their systems entrenched, the more money they could throw out, the more people they bring in to put on the dole, it creates the chaos they need, because the working person goes, what the fuck are you doing paying these Somalis, making them millionaires doing nothing, and you know it? Well, that's the point. They got to keep you in chaos. And just about the time that the public has been fucking fed up, I'm just telling it like it is, just about the time the public's fed up, it's pretty amazing how operations are run where they incite something and somebody gets killed, where they take these squishy, zombie-brained people, they put them in a position to think they're heroes, warriors doing something great, and they're not. Those people get killed. That's the ATM part of it. See, the party, the system needs people to be killed. Needs you to hate the government, needs you to point at the government, needs chaos. Because what happens is when somebody gets killed, the fucking money pours in to the system. Oh, this is wrong. We got to save this. And it's all about turning brains into zombies. And by the way, the shortcuts between all of us and now school-age kids now, you know, we're lucky if 1 out of 5 can read. See, they've weakened the brain over time to bring it down to believe anything and to make it not even be real, because they need ignorant people.
In a city full of retards, 2 in particular were about to find out.
Stop. Ice. Stop.
They couldn't follow the simplest orders.
Ma'am, please step out of the vehicle.
No! They disrespected the law at every single step.
Don't you think it's a bad idea to bring a gun to an ICE protest?
And found out the hard way.
Stop! Gun!
Pretty good. Soon in theaters.
That's actually no joke, folks. It is about massive dumbing down of everything in the system. And this is why I'm asking the question. How far, and I'm going to show you a few more things, but how far do you think we have gone, right? How far do you think we have fallen? How far do you think this has... Is it to the point that it's too corrosive? Do you follow what I'm saying? Is it to the point that it's gone too far? I'm gonna show you something here. Let me get the ID first, and I'm gonna grab it. I want you to look at this, because I'm just putting all these pieces together, and I want to know again. I want you to put how far do you think we're actually gone? Okay. How far do you actually think we're gone? Okay. I need a percentage. 100% is it's over. 100% is it's over. Where are we in that process? See, I tend to look at how everything gets put together, how everything kind of works together, to try to gauge where are we in this process, right? Where are we in this process? Because I think if we don't step back and look, and what I showed you, look, I showed you that little AI bit about Andrew Jackson and true history. I showed you they need chaos. Somebody saying 65% gone, 75% gone, 95% gone, 50% gone, 80% gone, 56% gone, 65% gone, 31.4% gone. But if we don't understand that every bit of this is tied together, every bit of this is tied together. I'll give you an example. Let's use the Andrew Jackson thing, control the city, right? Tell people you can manage them. Well, we got George Floyd crap. We got all this other stuff. And then ICE starts doing its job. It's one of the cities they port the illegals to, right? Then it is the left that stirs it up. Now, the left, like I told you, needs idiots. Let me remind you one more time.
In a city full of retards, two in particular were about to find out.
Stop. Ice. Stop.
They couldn't follow the simplest orders.
Ma'am, please step out of the vehicle.
No!
They disrespected the law at every single step.
Don't you think it's a bad idea to bring a gun to an ICE protest?
And found out the hard way.
Stop! Gun!
Pretty good. Soon in theaters.
Well, I know that's a parody, but it's true. You see these people getting in the face of police, doing their jobs, being given a set of instructions by Democrats. Well, they got to have a warrant. No, you follow what I'm saying? And it's the system that puts them in that place. Let me show you how they do it. I told you this is all connected to schools. You know the story of Romeo and Juliet, right? You know the story of Romeo and Juliet. A teacher teaching ninth graders, and they have to read Romeo and Juliet and do a report. That what's the lesson of it? Let me give you an example of a teacher sharing some of her students' answers.
I teach high school English, specifically freshmen, and we are in the middle of reading Romeo and Juliet. These are a few of the things my students have said about the story thus far. Was there time back then? Like, did it exist when Romeo and Juliet were alive? Oh, so you actually hate us. I had asked them to get the books out. Is Shakespeare a real person? Because I thought he was maybe one of those Greek gods, so I've been confused. Bro's a hella stalker. This is in regard to Romeo. Bro also has bad riz. Oh, he wants that haughty huzz, huh? This is about Romeo pursuing Juliet. Romeo is hella cringe. Get him off my screen. And finally, we don't need subtitles. We're not old. Thank you.
I just have a question. Could any of you, or did any of you, could any of you even imagine giving a response like that to any assignment? Bro, hella cringe. Any of you. For any reason. I can't. If that was back in my day and I was a freshman and I would have answered in any of one of those, One, they would have failed us, given an S, and probably F and booted out of the class. Now they can't do that. You're right, Chad. It would have been an instant F. You're right. Your parents would have said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Think about that. No, Isaac, I didn't say I was happy to see you on Rumble. I said I was happy to see you on my Facebook, knowing you're at Rumble. I don't know if you're on Rumble, but Isaac, we're also happy you're here, brother. Think about that. And all I'm trying to do, I'm just asking questions because I'm just trying to understand. I want you to put it in chat. Not a pop quiz. How far are we already gone? How far are we already gone? Put it in chat. I just want to know, have we fallen too far? Is it over for the United States of America? Now, I want to let you know, for me, it's 0%. This is a moment in time. We are not lost. If anything, we're getting focused. But we are not lost. We are just controlled. That's all that's going on. We're controlled. And yes, we're getting pretty tired of it. That's the plan. So let's talk about some tools we can change this. One of them is about the SAVE Act. You're seeing a lot more about the Arizona audit. You're seeing the same idiots from Maricopa coming back. Well, they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't. There wasn't all these papers found. That's a lie. Although I invite that ABC guy on, I think it's ABC, come on in live. We'll talk. I'll show you each one. We'll give you a visual test. He's never going to reply because it's about disinformation, etc. They're terrified. The system is fucking terrified. Now, if we're going to fix this, we got to understand what our rights are. We might as well start with Thune. Okay? There are things that we can do to get people like Thune out on their ass. It's not really difficult, folks. It's not. What we have to do is we have to convince 5 Republican senators to submit a written request to the conference chairman to convene a special meeting. Okay? To hold a leadership vote, okay, requiring a simple majority. That's 27 of the 53 for replacement. That's what has to happen. After this broadcast, on my locals, I am going to give you the letter. You will have to put your name on it. You'll put your address. I'm in district whatever, or I'm in your legislative district. You will send it to your Republican senator if you're fortunate enough to have one. But you've got to put that information at the top. My name's John Paul. I'm 35 years old. I have a wife and 2 kids. I live in legislative district number 1. You're my senator, and I'm writing you because. But I'm going to give you the letter. And you need to be emailing them. You need to be copying and pasting it in your Twitter, tagging them. Because all we need is 5 Republican senators to submit a written request. Okay? Even if you think they're rhinos, it doesn't matter. This is where you come in. This is where you come in. If you're not even willing to take something easy as this and put your information in and get it sent to them, then you're not in this fight. It's that simple. Okay? It's that simple. So I'm going to provide that to you. Stay tuned. You'll either watch on my Telegram or my locals. I'm going to give you the document. You will cut and paste. You will do it. You got to put in your information. But you have to do this. We only need 5. 96% of America want this done, and he's blocking it. And if we don't speak up, we are failing in our job to instruct our lawmakers as to what we want. We're failing to instruct our lawmakers as to what we want if we don't do it. I want to give you some numbers if I can, because I think you need to know this, and I think you at least need to take a look, right, and do this, okay? Now, stay with me. You can probably write this down. You're doing it at the Senate issue, at the Senate level, okay? Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to explain something to you called the burst effect. Burst, B-U-R-S-T. If you are willing to actually print this letter, you should send it in Twitter. You should send it in email. Those do things, but they do not move the needle as much as a physical letter. And that's why you got to have personally verified information. Now, the most valuable letter that hits the Senate is what's called the constituent verified. See, that's why you have to say, this is me. You're my senator. I live here. That is what escalates. It's called a constituent letter. Now, the way the system looks at this, please write this down. Okay, please write this down. Okay. In fact, I'll show it on my screen. Let me give you, because you can screenshot it and you can do it. But I'm going to show you how this works, folks. And I'm going to show you how to move the needle on this one. If you'll pay attention, I'm telling you, if you'll pay attention and do it, we will kick Thune's ass. Okay? And I want to explain to you, Mark Brnovich, former AG of Arizona, who's now dead, thought he was going to become a senator. When he came out of the gate, he was like 75%, 76 percentile. I showed a select dozen of people that follow the program how to do it, how to append it, how to make sure you hammer it. And they drove him down to some ridiculous sub 20%. And it only took about 10 days. And in a field of 4, he barely came in third. And he's a lifelong politician. Y'all kicked his ass. If you'll follow the formula, will work. So what I'm going to teach you about here is called the burst effect. Okay? The burst effect. Now, this is where when I put this out, okay? If because you always ask, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? If you will do this, I'm telling you, okay, it will change the dynamics of everything we're going through. And if you do this, okay, you will foster change. Now, here's how it works. This is basically called maximizing the burst effect using a physical letter. It's got to be a letter from you. You got to customize it from you, but I'm going to give you the wording of which you should modify. Here it is. We need you to do this. We got to get this asshole out. And you're going to be nice. Now, what gets it on radar is the physical letter, especially if you're a clearly constituent verified. Here are the numbers. If your Senate gets minimum 500 to as many as 2,000 in-state constituent letters in a short window, right? Basically what happens is you begin to move the needle. Okay? Now, what this does is if it's something that has to do with a plausible change on a close, lower salient vote, 5,000 letters, here you go. 20,000 letters, it's going to drive them nuts. But here's the thing. It's got to be a number that makes them go, holy shit. When you have and you hit your leadership with this, when you hit your leadership with this, and you hit it in this window, they have to respond. In fact, this is, and I won't even go into all the process, this is a process on the Senate books right now. And it all has to do with timing. Now, even if you don't have a Republican in your state senator, send it to a different senator Republican. You can send it to all Republicans. It doesn't matter. But we're talking about a printed letter with a stamp from you, get it in the mail, toot sweet. Here's what happens. If those arrive, as I'm asking you to do, within 3 to 7 days, the Senate elevates it to a crisis. The Senate. If we can generate 2,000 letters in that 3 to 7 day window, it gets elevated internally by a crisis. Now, what you need to know, even though on social media I want you to do it, and even in email I want you to do it, I want you to understand 100% of the House and the Senate right now is using AI automated email and tweets. They actually never see it. Some get replies, but when you're hitting them with it, don't think you're educating the lawmaker as much as you're putting something on their wall that all their other constituents can see. You're moving the people who follow that person, not as much that person. But when you get this to a physical letter, if this generates 15,000 verified in-state physical letters of any combination, and it comes in with 10 to 14 days, you're going to change the vote. They actually have a crisis procedure for this. I could take you through it, but it'd be too long. There is a managed crisis procedure in this. These have triggers inside the system when it comes to physical U.S. mail. So I'm going to post that. Here it is again. We only need 5 Republican senators to submit a written request. That means you need to educate your senator. This is the law. This is what should be done. This is what I'm asking you to do. And here's the simple majority you need. You educate them. You do not assume they know. The more people you get to do this in your districts, in a physical letter, which you can share, they can print, fucking get it out the door, sorry, we will get it done. Now I'm going to show you a peek inside of the difference between what they tell you and what they really do. You should post it on their X account. Yes. You should post it. You should find their email and send it an email. But if you want to smack them, you got to print the letter, put it in an envelope, get it out the damn door. Letters is what stops the machine. Okay? They use AI to follow everything in trends in email and in Twitter. That's the main reason I want you to put it there. You educate other constituents that are following the same senator you have, and you get AI to pick it up and say, hey, the people are concerned with this. But you're not hitting the person. Let me show you how the game's played. Do you remember in Maricopa Sonny Borelli, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we have this, and we have this. Do you remember Mark Fincham? We've done this, and we're going to fight, and we're do this, and we have this. Do you remember Wendy Rogers? We have this, we're going to do this, full forensic audits in 38 states. You remember that? Let me show you the behind the doors investigation recap of when the AG and or the government accountability systems interviewed these people about their evidence, because they get interviewed. You may not have seen this, but let me show you some of their testimony. In fact, let me see if I can pump it up. Give me one moment. I want to pump it up on a bigger screen so you can see this. Ooh, hang on, stand by. Not that way. Hold on. So we'll just get a better look at it. Hang on. Where the hell are you? Well, I'll be a son of a dick weenie. 1, 2. Where did it go? Okay, I got to figure out how else to do this. Hang on. How did I get it in my system if I don't have it here? Give me a minute. I want to find the version in my system. I don't know what happened. Here. I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to scroll down. Where the hell are you? Why are you not in my system where I can crank it up? I'm sorry, folks. Where are you? 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 Scrolling, stand by. Where are you? Where are you? How did that delete from my system? Now that's really interesting. Okay, let me figure a different way to do this. How can I do this? Well, shit a brick. Anyway, now I got to put on my damn glasses. Bear with me as I get my old as fuck eyes adjusted and read this to you, okay? These are interviews of Borelli, etc. I'm going to read these to you because this is the behind the scenes when AZ and or other stuff asked for, okay, so let's show us your evidence. In interviews with various media outlets, Arizona Senator Sonny Borelli alleged there was a cover-up with regards to election irregularities. We requested to meet with Senator Borelli so he could further clarify his statements. In an interview with agents, he did not repeat that allegation. With regard to dead voters, Senator Borelli provided the name of a deceased voter whom he said he personally checked, and the information was valid. When we looked further into that particular voter, it was learned Mr. Borelli was incorrect. The alleged deceased voter had not voted in the Arizona election and was not a resident of this state. The actual voter in this state was alive and lawfully voted. Now, that's questionable. Senator Borelli did not have any further information to provide. During his meeting with agents, Mr. Borelli was questioned as to a statement he made in a conversation recorded by a private party. This conversation was covered in various news media outlets. Mr. Borelli was on audio tape advising a person that if they had any information of election fraud, to give it to him, right? And not the AGO, because the information would disappear. Mr. Borelli stated that he misspoke and he felt that our agents were doing a good job on this matter. Next one. Arizona State Representative Fincham publicly stated that he had a source reporting that more than 30,000 fraudulent fictitious votes were registered in Pima County during the general election. Agents requested to meet with Mr. Fincham to discuss his allegations. During that meeting, Mr. Fincham did not repeat those allegations, specifically stating he did not have any evidence of fraud and he did not wish to take up our time. He did provide 4 ballots that he said was evidence of a flawed process for mailing and counting ballots. The ballots had been mailed to prior residents of the addresses on file. The residents had moved and the ballots cannot be forwarded by postal service. The ballots were not counted and were unopened. And the MCRO did not have a record of the residents' change of address. Fincham did not have any further information and left the meeting in relatively short order. We requested a meeting with Arizona Senator Wendy Rogers based upon her assertion there was widespread fraud in the 2020 election. Ms. Rogers refused to meet with us, saying she was waiting to see the perp walk of those who committed fraud during the election. What do you think about that? No evidence? Every one of those people has tens of thousands of examples of maladministration, etc. Every one of them got deceived to this fraud stuff. It's not about fraud, it's about maladministration. Every one of these people said they were working for us, they had it, etc., etc., etc. It's bullshit. 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 Yet every one of these people know what's up, have stayed away from the facts. And let me tell you why. Because they play the game. If they play the game, it allows them to say, we want forensic audits in all 38 states, and I'm going to go get them to sign up and do it. Fund this so we can get it done. People hear full forensic audit. And they're going, fuck, hey, I'm going to help finance a full forensic audit in multiple states. So you cough up $4 million. $4 million, supposedly. But at the end of the day, were there any other full forensic audits? No. Did any of that money go out to audits? No. She actually claimed some ridiculous number. I'm not exact, I don't know, but like $3.6 or $3.7 or $3.8 million in expenses, marketing to try to sell that idea. And then it's her nephew that runs the marketing. They made a shitload of money. A shitload of money. Because what you heard them say is, we're doing a full forensic audit. Donate, donate. What they were saying is, I'm saying what you want to hear, and I'm a politician. Donate to me. And that's what they did. Think about that. That's why I ask you, where are we in the process? Where the hell are we in the process? Remember, with Thune, it only takes 5 senators to do the right thing to get rid of him. I'm going to place it on my locals. I'm going to place it on my Telegram. You must customize it. Copy them on Twitter. It's no good if you don't use the hashtag. If you just go to their account, Thune or whoever, your senator, and you just post it there, it does nothing. You got to tag them. That's where you use the @ and their handle. It turns blue. You must do that. You must copy your senators. You can copy other senators. Copy it, Thune. Let them know we're coming for them. But you must customize it. If you do not customize it, you're throwing it away. It does help in email. It does help in Twitter and stuff all across all social media because AI tracks it, says it's trending. But I'm asking you, print a freaking shit of paper, put it in an envelope and a stamp. You probably haven't forgot those, but you can do it. And in fact, if you don't have an envelope and a stamp, you can get over to the post office or any UPS or any FedEx, and they have envelopes with the stamp already postage pre in it. Print the freaking letter. Put your name on it. Don't write, here, motherfucker, do this, motherfucker. It goes in the trash. Put you on a list. Do what's right. And we can fix this. I love you all. Please share this program. It's a fight, and this is why the evidence we have is so paramount. And with that disgusting stuff, there was no evidence. Let me remind you as we go out exactly what every one of these son of a bitches had in their hand.
Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies file 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "It's the machines," or "The machines changed the votes," or "The voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or six-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gathered relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pulled the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County full forensic audit archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.